Hi, I'm Dr. Gemma, and welcome back to Cognitive, the Knitting Psychology podcast. Cheerfully and somewhat irregularly in business since 2008. Segments today may include what's on my hooks, needles, and spindles, a strategy, something I really like, put a lid on it, oh shoot, and blather. So sit back, put your feet up, pick up your knitting, crocheting, spinning, weaving, or dyeing, or any other yarny thing you're doing, and get ready to enjoy. Well, hello there, it's Gemma, and this is episode 279 of the new series of the Cognitive podcast. And if you look at the show notes, you can see a picture of me in my gardening attire there. I am wearing a hat and glasses so I don't get pollen in my eyes. And I have a special sort of, I think it's supposed to go over your hair, but I wear it up over my nose so that I'm not inhaling pollen. And it's like this kind of sleeve with ear loops. Frankly, I look like I'm about to rob a bank. So I could not resist putting that in the show notes because, yes, we have some green fingers this week. Your comments are very welcome. You can comment on the blog at cognitivepodcast.blogspot.com, or you can comment on our group on Ravelry. I have to say there's a link to that group in the show notes, and that's where most of the discussion action does seem to happen. You can buy me a coffee. I don't know what's going on lately, but a couple of you have, and I'm deeply grateful to you. I was looking at my summary for the month. Do remember, I am continuing to work a job right now. So if you have money and you want to give it away and you're grateful to me, you can also give it to a charity, and I'm cool with that. I will not add you to any of my follower groups on social media because robo-accounts are following me around. So you can follow me here at the blog at Cognitive Podcast. Do remember the K in Cognitive. cognitivepodcast.blogspot.com. Warm thanks this week. I have to say it to the estimated 8 to 10 million patriots worldwide who took to the streets last Saturday. I try to remain neutral because of my current professional obligations in terms of what I say and do in my practice, but I was very moved by the whole set of demonstrations. I also want to thank Canadian buddy Todd Maffin, who's never met me and probably never heard of me. He's my buddy. I'll explain that why underneath something I really like. And warm thanks to my listeners as always. Especially I want to thank my communities in general. In this group, of course, on Finch, on Reddit, and on the ground in the Santa Clarita and Antelope Valleys. This year on Finch, I hit my Finch birthday. That my burbs are 365 days older. So it's been a year. How's that working? It's working great. There have been changes over time. It has morphed into my can-do list as I have kept at various times in other apps and on paper. In other words, I do not try to get through all my goals every day. I just make a huge list of goals for my Finch apps, and I carry it everywhere on my phone. One of them is on my iPad mini. There is slight variation between their lists. They are not the exact same account. However, I love them. I love both my burbs. I keep thinking about getting rid of one. Can't bear to do it. Cognitive Fiber Retreat 12. The information link is right there under the pictures of my Finch's first birthday pictures. It's the info thread over on Ravelry. You can see all the information you need. Yes, I've made my hotel reservation. Please be careful, by the way. If you have given me a coffee and you're not trying to give me a coffee, you're trying to enroll in CFR 12, please let me know, or please go look at the information thread on Ravelry. I want to make sure nobody enrolls in the wrong place. So far, I think we're good, but I just want to make sure. In the meantime, what's on my hooks and needles, you may say? Well, first of all, the stash tossed. for 2026, 17 skeins in, 41 skeins out. Thank you, CFR 11.5, because I gave away yarn that I wasn't going to use, and that really helped. Included in this is the Prawn Agnes. Now you can see a picture of it. I am not real happy with it. There's a few reasons that are obvious when you look at the picture. The neckline is just not sitting well, and I can't figure out why. I've made this sweater twice before. The neckline just feels a little tighter than I would like. But I'm okay with that. I still need to soak it, and that will probably solve that problem. What I don't like is the length of the body and the abrupt color change in the body from the colorway that is prawn but not forgotten, to the more mixed oranges overreaction. This is all from Oink in the Upig yarn or Umpig yarn. I really like this yarn, by the way. It is very heavy. It is listed as a bulky. It's a heavy bulky, and I quite like it. It's got a lovely hand. I did this, I believe, on size 11s. I will probably consider doing this on a 13 if I do it again with this yarn. But I did a lot of experimentation with the fade, and in the body, I didn't get the fade right. On the sleeves, I did. I did the fade two different ways on the sleeves. I like the way both sleeves came out. These two colorways go very well together, but if you do not fade them into each other, the shift is too abrupt and looks like a weird stripe. I struggled with this and decided before I wash and block it, I'm going to pull out that bottom, I guess it's probably about 4 to 5 inches. That is in the overreaction. I ordered another skein of the Prawn But Not Forgotten. Will that be enough to do those 5 inches? Hard to say, but I think I'm going to try and do a more mixed fade like I did on the arms instead. We'll give it a try. The point is, at this phase in my life, I have made so many sweaters or jumpers for myself that it is really not scary anymore to look at one and go, I don't like that as much as I could. And to go back, rip it out, and repair it. So this sweater is in my mending pile, and I am waiting for that order from Oink. I'm looking forward to it. I have considered telling Julie up at Oink, hey, forget it. Just wait until the next CFR and bring me it then. No, I want to fix this over the summer if all goes well. So that actually took, what did that take? 7 skeins out. But I ordered a new skein, which added 1 to the in count. And so when I finish the mending, I will take that 1 skein out as well. But so far, a stash toss, 17 in, 41 out. Otherwise, in progress, everything is kind of paused, except I'm finishing the first of the blueberry waffles in brown and gold. This is the Dizzy Laser Sock number 2. That is, it is in yarns from Laser Sheep and Dizzy Blonde yarns. You can see it down below. I decided to go with the foot in full stockinette because it lets me have popcorn knitting. Often when I do this pattern, the blueberry waffles that is, I will do the blueberry waffle down the top of the foot and we'll do a plain stockinette down the bottom. But this wasn't one of those times. So I'm working very happily towards the toe on that. And you can see in that picture, you can see the transition where the heel is going to be where I have the waist yarn. And above it, I have the lovely popcorning effect of the blueberry waffle pattern. And then the very nice flat stockinette for the foot that shows off that colorway and how it does a little bit of subtle self-striping. This is, of course, the colorway from Dizzy Blonde. It's not Captain Tight Pants. I can't remember the name of the colorway. It's one of their Firefly-related list. Y'all know Firefly's coming back, right? I'm just saying. Having said that, meanwhile, I am working on the Tolsta. I am on the body and the first sleeve. That is, I got onto the last of my 3 skeins of yarn from Louisa Harding and said, I'm just going to do the body till I run out of yarn because I love this yarn. I want to use it all up. So to do that, of course, you have to go do the sleeves to make sure you don't have some terrible tragedy. So I basically put needle blockers on the needles that are on the body and left them there hanging. And then took another size 9 and ran it through one sleeve. And I'm working on the sleeve. This yarn gets weirdly stretchy. It's not wool, it's cotton based. So it is a little hard on the sleeves not to have a sort of gappiness. I'm working on it. I'll let you know. I may just have to darn over any gappiness. But I am enjoying this yarn enormously. And you can see the Tolsta up in the picture with the blueberry waffles. The Tolsta is kind of wadded up above it. If you really look to the right, you will see where I'm working on that sleeve at the top right. Having said that, I lost control this week and started another Melt the Ice hat. I have had this skein of Rios in Sagittarius just sitting by my desk. And I wasn't sure if I want to make a sweater out of it, and I might. This stuff is a lot of variegation, and it's just breathtaking, this colorway Sagittarius. And so I decided to use it to make another hat. And as long as I'm at it, and it's reddish toned, I thought I'd make a Melt the Ice hat. But I have to tell you, this is also a test knit for using the Sagittarius for a sweater. Now, the problem and the good thing there, in this hat, this is ribbing you're looking at 1 by 1. Now, it's not stretched out, so it looks like it's stockinette, but it's not. That's actually a ribbing stitch. I am a little worried how this stuff would swatch up as stockinette in a sweater. Of course, you all know the answer, ribbed sweater. Just set it so you don't have to. In the meantime, everything else is on pause, and let's move down to a strategy. This is interesting. It's come up in several forms this week. And usually I talk about what do I do if I'm having some kind of mental health issue. But what has come up this week for me treating patients has been, what do I do if someone else is having one? And the classic example is a person who's having anxiety or panic. Don't worry about the difference, okay? That's my job, not yours. It's too much. And to put it simply, panic is intensive in this moment fear. Anxiety is the more general term for ongoing fear and the habit of worrying. Now, I've told you. I hope you feel better. What do I do when someone has panic or anxiety in front of me? And they may call it a panic attack. They may call it an anxiety attack. Let's not get into that. It doesn't matter what they call it. What matters is what you can do. First, there is an issue of responsibility. You can't fix another person unless they're cooperating with you. Get it through your head. And I'm thinking about coming back to this next week and talking about the larger issues with that, because that also keeps coming up this week. But somebody in front of me seems to be panicking or highly anxious. What do we do? It's very similar to what you do for yourself. Try to get them air. Walk up to them and say, "Can I help you?" And if they're signaling no, 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 then no, no, no. But if you think there's an opening to help, and that's a pretty iffy thing, you say, "Can you breathe with me? Let's get you some air so that you can feel a little better." Often they will say, "I can't breathe. I can't do that." Please don't get angry at them. That's exactly what we're talking about here. And you say, "I'm going to breathe with you. See if you can breathe with me." And you're going to start breathing slowly and deeply. You put your hand on your diaphragm. If you're a woman, your ribs right below your breasts. And your hand should go up and down. Your ribs should open and close. You should see your hand moving. And you're going to breathe slowly. And you're going to do a slow inhale. And you're going to hold for just a second. And then you're going to do an even slower exhale, pursing your lips so you go even slower than you did on the inhale. If you're paying attention, you just realized that's what I've called an army breath. 4, 5, 8. Inhale 4, hold 5, exhale 8. The count doesn't matter a lot. The speed doesn't matter as much as you'd think. The goal here, exhale twice as long as the inhale. That's going to activate their parasympathetic nervous system and slow them down. That's what we're looking for. Why do we hold for that little second? We want to give the air a chance to go from their lungs across the barrier into their bloodstream. Okay? So you get in front of them, you try to get in their line of vision, you put your hand on your rib cage and you say, "Can you breathe with me?" And you inhale and you make noise when you do it. Try to do it loud and clear so they can tell what you're doing. Hold for a second, purse your lips, and blow out slowly. The other thing you want to do is get them so they feel safe. I would do this after I started the breathing, because if there's no oxygen, they can't think. So asking them to sit down or move over to a safer place or a more quiet place, they may not be able to do it with you. You have to use your judgment on this. If they're standing in the middle of a street and traffic is coming, forget breathing, just push them out of the way for heaven's sake. Okay? You have to use your judgment. But if you can get them to start breathing and you say something like, "How about if we sit down?" and you do it with them. "How about if we move over here?" And you try to get them to a safer place. Bonus points if you can get them to drink a cup of something without caffeine. I happen to like water at a moment like this. What we're looking for here is once they try to drink, not through a straw, mind you, once they try to drink out of a cup, they're going to try to regulate their own breathing. They may not know they're doing that, but that's what they're going to do. Okay, so if you can, you give them a nice soothing drink. You do not give them caffeine. Caffeine raises anxiety. It is very, very bad. What if they want to smoke a cigarette? Well, you can't exactly knock it out of their hands. I'm going to tell you, contrary to popular belief, nicotine raises anxiety. Sucking on something may lower anxiety. May. Depends on the person. So, no, I would advise against them smoking something. If they pull out a joint, I'm out of this discussion. I'm not going to advocate using any kind of substance, and that includes caffeine and nicotine, while you're in panic. It just isn't going to work the way you want it to. Take it from a psychologist. The other thing you do is you tell them, "I'm here with you, I'm going to help you." You want to say that occasionally, like, "It's okay, I'm going to help you, I'm here with you." Now, you might get some unpleasant responses. "Get away from me, I don't know you." Yeah, okay. Okay. Don't push it. Remember the part about responsibility. They have to agree to this. You don't just force yourself on people. Yeah, it helps if you say something like, "I'm an EMT." If you are an EMT, for God's sake, don't lie. I usually walk up to people and say, "I am a licensed therapist. Can I help you?" This is no moment to talk about the difference between what I am and what a licensed therapist is. Close enough. Mostly I spend my days professionally doing therapy. But if you can't say that, you don't say that. "I have first aid training. Can I help you?" If that's as far as you can go, do that. "Hey, Gemma, what if I don't have first aid training?" Please go get it. Contact the American Red Cross. And go back to what we talked about in previous episodes. You can feel more powerful even in these troubled political times. Go take a first aid class. Go take a CPR class. Donate blood. Okay. So that's it. Please remember, you can't force yourself on somebody who doesn't want you. If you need to walk away, you walk away. Do not go any further than that. For heaven's sake, don't harass somebody. When people are in panic, that's not the only thing in play necessarily. If, for example, this is a teenage girl and you're a middle-aged guy, she may be afraid of middle-aged guys, she may have been assaulted, any woman could have that problem. Please remember, there is more in play. So you have to offer to help, and if they say no, it is no. And after that, if they need help and they're not responding and they're not letting you help, you can always turn around and say, can anybody help this person? Is there a doctor here? Okay. Well, how do I know that? I've had so many CPR classes at this point I've lost count. It's the first thing they teach you in CPR is get help first, because you don't know what you're looking at. Two heads are better than one. Oh, shoot. Well, last weekend I went down to the Glendale Galleria on Saturday, and I took the bus the long way around because I was trying out a new bus route, and there I was at the corner of, what was this, Los Feliz? What? No, it wasn't Los Feliz. I think it was Brand Boulevard and Chevy Chase, and there was a protest. Isn't that wonderful? So I've given you a picture of my favorite sign. I got off the bus and walked to my destination, and I walked through the protest, and I was very impressed. And there we go. Meanwhile, there's my place to donate old running shoes, old medals. There my upcoming races are in a nice big list under upcoming. On to the fluffy books. I finished Welcome to the Hunam Dong Bookshop. That always takes me a second. I really liked it. I do recommend it. It's just peaceful, and it wasn't what I expected. It's sort of two separate storylines that connect through family, love, and resilience, including marital. I really liked it. It wasn't the typical, what's usually called a Japanese healing novel. For one thing, it's Korean. And I found it very peaceful and likable. I am listening to Tusks, Tales, and Tea Cakes. The mistakes in this are driving me crazy. A large part of the story is about making chai. The recipe is wrong. It leaves out really significant stuff. I can't help thinking, has this author actually done any research for this book? Especially when she talks about an archer carrying a quiver full of bows. Can I explain to you, you can't carry a quiver full of bows. A quiver is much smaller than that and holds arrows. There's mistake after mistake like that in this book. At times I have wondered, is this AI? Because it has so many mistakes. Curiously, I am enjoying the storyline, but you have to forego good physical description and good verbs. For listening to at night, it is low activity, low energy, low adventure. It's okay. Reading it, no. I wouldn't bother to buy a printed copy of it. This is her only book. One kind of hopes it may stay that way. I salute her for getting this published. I am reading Mary Bennett and the Beast of Rosings Park by Joyce Harmon. This is the third book in this series. Only one is out on audiobook. That's too bad. I really like this series. Yeah, it's weird. Mary Bennett has a bit of the magician in her. This is freaky Jane Austen, and there's a lot of that out there now. I think Pride and Prejudice and Zombies really set this loose in the public imagination. That doesn't change the fact this is a fun, intelligent series, and I'm enjoying this book a lot. It's a light read, but very pleasing. Also, I read The Other Bennett Sister a while back and reviewed it here. I just found out the Beeb filmed it, and it is currently on Netflix, and I must go watch it. No, it's not on Netflix. It's on BritBox. I must go watch it. Something I really like. Unite and Conquer. I was very moved by the millions of people in the streets this week. I am so impressed people are doing this. I look forward to retirement when I can go out there and do this. But I really want to thank the people who did it. I think it takes a lot of guts to stand up for your beliefs, and I appreciate that people are doing this. At the same time, there is the wonderful Todd Maffin, who I mentioned a few minutes ago. Todd is a Canadian. He tries to be friendly and lovable. He is publishing videos, I believe I'm running into him on Reddit, about Canada, and he is now unavoidably talking about the situation between Canada and America. However, Todd introduced to me this week the concept. There is a weekend, it's April 24th through 26th this year, where you can go to Nanaimo, British Columbia in Canada, and meet Canadians. And the interesting thing is, if you just want to see Canada, you go. If you want to see British Columbia, you go. They do have groups there that will talk to you about moving there, about being a healthcare worker, if you want to do that. But Todd makes clear that he's cooperating with the people who run it. And the people who run it have a website, and I've given you the link in the show notes under something I really like. It's worth going to have a look at that. I would love to go to this. I really would love to see this. It looks really friendly. It looks low-key. And it basically is, you don't have to be American. You don't have to be in healthcare. You can just go and see what friendly people in British Columbia are like. I would love to go to this. I give it to you, and I also give you Todd's face looking a bit startled there with the website link. And if you really pay attention and download the picture, you can see his title as well, where he publishes his videos. I also want you to remember I still have the bundle of ice resistance patterns on Ravelry. Did I see any resistance hats in California? I don't know. I didn't see them in Glendale, but I didn't really look either, and I wish I had thought of it. Meanwhile, there is the set of links I put in to help in this cause, including the link for more links at Crafters Helping Minnesota. Project back episodes on Proton, episodes 201 to 250 of the new series are there still. And on to Green Fingers. Well, I had kind of forgotten my plantings from last year because I usually start the plantings in around May. But hot weather hit early in March, and then the weeds went insane. So as you know, I've been weeding. My husband this week walked up to me and took me up to a spot by our fence to the front corral and said, "Are these yours?" I am so grateful to him. He found a cluster of the sages that I planted last year, the beautiful red blooming autumn sages. And so if you look in the pictures, you will see on the left picture, there's a whole bunch of them. I don't think I planted them this close together, but there's a whole bunch. They may be reseeding. I can only hope. But they're doing okay. But then this made us go look over on the other side of Audrey 4, I think we're up to now, the man-eating wisteria, who's been doing great. And on the other side of her, there was one of the sages blooming the way I hoped. You can see a picture of that on the right. I still have to go back in there and weed around it. But look at that baby. It really liked the spot, and it's taking off. This is good news. This means, yes, that patch under the house can be planted with those guys. And that's probably a project. And I'm looking at my favorite patch where the peppermint is and thinking, okay, do we want to get in there? In that patch, I did plant the 2 rosemaries this week. I had wanted to plant them more out in full sun, but I was afraid, number one, they looked like they weren't doing well in their pots. I couldn't get a hole dug out in the main area where I wanted to plant them. So I thought, well, let's plant them over here because they'll get watered more. They get direct sunlight for much of the day. They should grow just fine. They're a little more sheltered. So hopefully we'll be seeing more of those guys. Of the 2 peppermints I planted there, one just died. Frankly, it looks like something came up and ate it, right down almost to the ground. The other one's doing great and is flourishing. And of course, my Paiute peppermint is heroically trying to come back. It's not looking good with this dry spell, but we'll see where it is by May. Nothing exciting and put a lid on it. And that takes us to the blather. Well, I am so proud to say, last Friday, my beloved son gave platelets. It was beautiful. They did the drama bandaging on him. He liked it. He did really, really well. He told me last night that he's made an appointment to give again next week. My son has type O blood, O positive. He is a super donor. He can give anything, and he's gotten onto this idea, and I'm very, very proud of him. Platelets take time. It's a real effort to give. He was gone for about 3 hours. He really got it down. He got his app working. We are comparing our apps and our donor cards and all sorts of things. I, meanwhile, got my letter from the Red Cross that says, no, you can't. You've got HLA, human leukocyte antibodies, and that means you're never going to give platelets again, and you shouldn't give plasma either. So I can give super red, although they really don't want it from me. I think it's A minus, B minus, and it might be O that they want super red from. They will take it from an A, but they don't really need it from me, apparently. Looks like I just give blood every 2 months. My next time, I think, is April 26th. But we have converted the son, and I'm very, very proud of him. And he just did it. He didn't make a big drama out of it. He just worked it out, and he did it. And I'm very happy. On Saturday, as I said, I went down to Glendale, and then I ordered an e-bike. And you'll be hearing about that because it comes tomorrow. Sunday, I had a lovely day. Wonderful Caroline and Steve, my English cousins, called me. And we just had the nicest 6 hours on the phone together. What were we on? I think we were on messaging through Instagram. I cannot thank them enough. It was the tonic I needed. This has been, and I'll talk about this next week, a week of enormous recovery for me. A lot of things that were going wrong got corrected. We're just waiting on that plumber tomorrow to fix our bathtub shower attachment. But otherwise, and I think all the good this week started because I talked to you, Caroline and Steve, so I cannot thank you enough. I also had a check-in with Jasmine, who is Jasmine, wonderful as always. And I think any news from there, I'll let her do the updates on her various social media. But boy, what a fabulous experience to talk to Caroline and Steve and Jasmine. I mean, just wonderful. And to see some Knitmore family members, just so great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Community resources, you know all this stuff. I need to go in and revise them. Sure I do. And that'll happen the next blue moon. But you can see the links, including the links for ICE and being informed about ICE. And you can see my upcoming calendar. And we get down to Minerva. Minerva gets the last word. You can see her sitting in my lap while I work on these socks. And we're looking down at my knees, and you can see some of my sweater storage bins there. I'm in the knitting nook. Minerva is in my lap because she is saying, I choose you. Yes, Pokemon fans, I was finally chosen this week. It was one of those wonderful things that can happen with a pet. A moment that you don't see coming. And it brings up another moment from my far past, which is why I think this registered with me. Minerva came in the bedroom, and my husband was lying in our big bed on our lovely, hard as a rock, firm new mattress. And she asked me for treats, and I said, I don't have any. And my husband was in bed, and he shook the treats bag he had in his hand, said, I have them. And I said to her, he's got them. And I tried to walk around the bed with her. She came around the bed, she saw the treats in his hand, and I walked the other way to go to the restroom with no treats. And she meowed plaintively. She thought for a minute, and she followed me. Yes, love won out over treats. That is not an easy thing for an animal to do because animals, particularly carnivores like cats, do worry about where their next meal will come from. But she chose her tribe leader. I think that's me. I'm not always sure. Sometimes I think she runs the tribe and I'm the stupid kitten. But she chose that over the food. Now, she does love my husband. She understands that my husband and my son are humans, whereas I am some form of exceptionally goofy cat. Sometimes I'm her kitten, sometimes I'm her cat mom. And you can say she chose me because of that, because it means I'm the more consistent supplier of food. I don't care. I don't care because all relationships, and this is a little hard to take, but all relationships are based on this. And it doesn't make them any less valuable. Love is manifested through nurturing, through feeding, through caring for others. So if the animal picks you because you care for them more than someone else does, even the guy with the treats, that doesn't mean it's just mechanistic and they don't care about you. It means they trust you, that even without food in your hands, you have a long-standing, committed relationship that they have faith in. That is what families and communities are made of. 1,000 little actions where we nurture and care for each other and we give trust. Tip of the hat here to my very first pet, Click, the amazing Norwegian elkhound. A goddess among dogs, still stands out among the many amazing pets I've had. When Click was young, Click is an elkhound. Elkhounds are almost always food motivated. They're a wonderful breed, but they are a challenge to manage because they're very, very smart. And they can problem solve. Okay, and my father used to carry on, oh, that dog doesn't really love you. If I had a steak, she'd go with me. His girlfriend, Marie, God rest her soul, and I bless her for this, one night, she got sick of it. My father had made steaks for dinner. She handed him a steak on a plate, and she sent us all to the bottom of the driveway, and she said, I've had enough. You walk that way, and pointed at my father and pointed down the road, and pointed to me and pointed the other way. You walk that way. Both of you call her. She moaned in pain, and then she followed me. So Minerva brought back a wonderful moment with the outstanding Click, because both of them, at an important moment in my life, said, I choose you, and reminded me that our love and our trust are certainly built on concrete actions like feeding and giving. But there's so much more than that. They're nurturing and trust, and those are the best values of community. And of course, Minerva understands that we are a member of a community, and she supports that as I do too, because when you protect the community, you are protecting the individual. Having said that, everybody, stay safe, take care of each other, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. So we have come to the end of another episode of Cognitive. Please do not use this podcast to diagnose yourself. If you think you are having a mental health problem, please contact a licensed mental health professional. Show notes for these episodes can be found at cognitivepodcast, all one word, .blogspot.com. Episodes can be found at iTunes under the name Cognitive Podcast, but also can be found posted next to the show notes on the Blogspot page. Thank you so much for listening. Everybody, stay safe, take care of each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.